You guys have come off the back of kind of a week or 2 weeks of night shoots, so you must be feeling quite delirious.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm actually feeling fine. I'm sure. I've also just like taken a lot of like blood and dirt off, so I will use this opportunity as a slight disclaimer. If you just are like, God, he looks rough, that's why. It's weeks of night shoots and blood makeup that I'm still peeling off, sorry.
Of course, you'll probably be peeling that off for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm just really lazy. Like they could get it all off in hair and makeup, but I always get to a certain point like, nah, it's fine, I'm done. I'll just pick the rest of this off throughout the rest of the day. As I said, I've got a long flight home, so that's something to do, isn't it?
You can just pick the blood off
yeah, exactly.
for 24 hours. That sounds awesome. I'm getting a sense of the film when you're saying you're spending a lot of your time just taking blood off your body. That's awesome.
It is. I think at this point, and we're not, we're about halfway through, I think currently I've been bled on by 3 different characters, and shot in the face with a SFX blood gun twice. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
It is. That's the thing. It's when I read the script initially, it was when you read something for the first time. I admit this might just be me, but I'm sort of bad at reading it. I'm bad at reading the details. I just read the whole thing and I get really into it, and I'm like, oh, this is great, this is really funny. And then it's only when I was or just before coming out here to actually start, that I was like, oh man, I'm gonna be covered in blood. When I actually started analyzing and then that guy dies, and then that guy gets shot on me. And oh wow, I'm gonna be really screwed. And how am I gonna do that with, and the actual reality of doing everything with gun hands, really, I hadn't thought about that at all. And then I started reading the script again, being like, oh, he uses a computer. How am I gonna do that? And just working out all the beats. But that was what, if you'd read this script and not realised it was going to be a slightly crazy shoot, you would have been, it would have been foolish. So that's what I signed up for, and it has been a lot of fun.
It certainly sounds like it. It's one of those things where I get a sense, even if I asked you to try and describe it in a nutshell, it would be impossible to do so.
In some ways, it's very easy that it's a this very, very reluctant, non-violent person gets forced into a sort of fight to the death with a psychopath, a fantastically entertaining psychopath played by Samara Weaving. But there is a lot more to it than that, and I think tonally it just sits in a really interesting, hard to describe place where it is this out and out action movie, and it is funny and grisly, but it is also very, very funny and has a silliness to it and a self-awareness to it that sometimes is lacking from action movies, while at the same time being, I suppose in a way it's one of those things. It's it is both the thing it is and a homage to the thing it is. It's an action movie that is sort of a very self-aware action movie.
Is that part of the appeal when you read the script?
Yeah, I think just the general playfulness and fun of the script, and how Jason, our writer-director, would comment on certain action movie tropes or video game stuff, or there was all these cultural references crammed into it that were just really individual and telling of it's great when you read a script and you're like, oh, this is this writer's voice, and it is coming out in lots of different ways, and it's and so I think that's hopefully it's a that translates onto screen. It's a really fun movie as well as being very violent and dark.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Jason does have a way of integrating Kiwi humour into a wide variety of things, and Deathgasm, I think, his earlier film is very indicative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, if I have a stereotype for what Kiwi humour is.
After a month in New Zealand, have you come up with one?
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel if there is, it's very similar to English humour or something. I feel it definitely, there haven't been moments of me being why is this funny? I don't get it. So yeah, I think on the whole, I feel it's quite similar. But we've definitely got a lot of amazing. But my favorite Rhys Darby has a part in the movie, and everyone else is everyone else is being American, and then Rhys Darby's we just were like, don't be, just be randomly from New Zealand in this otherwise American story and script, and it's fantastic. The part that he plays, I won't say like really anything about, but it's one that like I absolutely would not have thought of him for it in a million years, and as soon as they told me that that was who they were playing, I was like, yeah, that's genius. Like, that's
sold.
Great. Yeah.
Sold. There's a rumour going around that you might have been sent the script and kind of pretty much said yes before almost you've even finished it.
I mean, it was not before I finished it, but there were definitely like scenes early on where. Well, I mean, in a sense, yeah, there were scenes very early on where I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this movie. Like, there was the moment, like, we haven't actually shot this yet, but there was, you know, you start off with the premise of a movie that gets a guy that gets guns in a very grisly way, you know, bolted and surgically attached to his hands. And how fully that premise was explored early on in like a physical comedy sense of like getting him to do stuff with the gun. In fact, I was like, there's a version of this movie where all of that stuff would have been overlooked and it would have been a lot less funny. And like Jason, there's a scene early on where he has to, you know, go to the toilet with gun hands on, and there's a really good line in it, and I think, and that comes early. That's like before, I think, page 20 of the script, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do this film. But then I did finish the script. I wasn't just like, okay, great, I've got to the pissing scene, we're in, sign me up. But when it got to the, by the time I got to the end, I was like, yeah, this is great, and also then, like, I mean, I spoke to Jason after that and just had a meeting to make sure that, like, we didn't hate each other, and we did not, and he's, you know, actually one of the most and not easygoing is not the right word, actually, 'cause he's very easygoing in himself, but like he's very like very in it and excited on set. But he's just like a lovely person. He, as well as being incredibly creative. Like every day, it's one of the, like, sometimes you get jobs where every day you come to work going, what cool thing are we going to get to do today? And this is like definitely one of them. And his vision for the film, which was so clear in the script, is sort of by and large the reason for that.
You've kind of answered this question, but I would love to get a sense what has been the most nourishing part of the process so far. I know we're halfway through, you're heading to Munich, but what's been the most nourishing?
Honestly, like watching this crew like make this happen, because it's a really ambitious film. I mean, it's an action movie, and we're not like operating on the like budgetary levels of like massive action movies that go around the world, but we are, you know, incredibly, I think, you know, what we lack in finances, we've made up for in like ambition and imagination, and across all departments. You know, there's Ollie, one of the head of the grips department, is like, you know, he's doing stuff without all the like bells and whistles that you would get on like, you know, the crazy Potter films or whatever, but they're just like making stuff happen to do these amazing camera shots. And also, like, you know, we've got drones and stuff now, so it's like certain things have become more accessible generally across the film industry. With like, you don't have to have a helicopter unit for a day; you can get it on drone. But by and large, like the art department, you know, the makeup and hair, like everyone is doing the work. Costume, like everyone is doing the work of many more people than they actually are, and like everyone's been amazing. So it's always fun when you're in the middle of something like that, and you're like, just watching everybody work really hard and really be great at their jobs is a fun thing to be in the middle of.
I bet. And does it lean to the collaboration process? If everyone's working their asses off like that, and all for one given name, which I'm sure, of course, all productions are and all films you've worked on are, but when you're a smaller, tighter unit like that, it must feel a lot more like family by the end of it. It does,
and it also, like, on a intense shoot, like there's nobody who's had like, I don't think I could point to any departments that have had an easy day at any point on this shoot. Like everyone's been working really hard, but it has been really like good, like a great spirit about it as well. Like it hasn't been a grind at all. Like it's been fun every day, and that's what's special about film, and that's why like we're so lucky is we get to be in. They're very. I don't know. Like I think the best jobs, you get to feel like you're part of a team, and I think people. Well, I definitely like love that feeling of being, you know, in sort of working together with lots of people to make, as you said, one thing happen. And yeah, this has been like a lovely example of that.
Now, insurance agents like to think that stunt doubles are super useful when it comes to their lead actors, but I've been hearing that perhaps you've preferred to do a few of your own stunts.
I mean,
Daniel.
I do what I can where they will allow me, but like I'm not gonna, like Mark Trotter is my stunt double, like you have to give a lot of credit to him as well. I'm not gonna, like, that's the thing, whenever an actor says, I do all my own stunts, what they mean is, I do them after they have been thoroughly rehearsed by a stuntman to make sure they are absolutely safe for an actor to do. Yeah, I've been able to do a lot on this, which is great. This is the first job I've ever done where they actually they asked me to come out early and do like training with the stunt team a little bit before we started. And that was, I think, really useful because it let them know that I was up for doing stuff and what my capabilities were, which I haven't really got to do a lot of stuff like that since Potter, because again, they were a team that I knew really well and knew me, so they would let me do more things, whereas most sets you go onto, the stunt coordinator is like, no, we'd rather you didn't, if that's all right.
Sit down.
But yeah, on this, so they've been letting me do a lot of things, which has been great, and yeah, but for the most part, like my characters are, he is not a fighter. Most of my stunts are just like running very fast away from the action is like is most of what I've been doing. What else we did? I got to do a cool little wire jerk through the air the other day when they, which will be eventually done with some more visual effects to make me look like I'm coming out of a car windscreen. Yeah, but yeah, that was fun. They shot it on the Phantom camera, which is the camera that shoots at like between 500 and 1,000 frames per second. So it's almost like cheating. You can't make anything not look amazing. Like you just have to have someone blinking. Like that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. That shot's amazing.
I'm looking forward to seeing this already. We have to wait a while, according to Tom, perhaps Toronto next year.
Okay,
Might be
cool.
A good little
Next year?
pad.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Oh, well, that's good though. I'd rather that than hear that they're going to like try and rush it out suddenly. So that's nice.
Let's have a little bit of a conversation about. I can imagine a lot of scripts come past you. Is there something each time that I mean? We've talked about what it was about the script itself, but to make a big decision to come down to New Zealand to shoot a film from a director that you've never worked with before, is there something specifically each time that clicks with you and you say, this is something I have to do and I have to do it. I have to do it now.
Yeah, but I can't describe it or define it any more than you just have. Like there is a specific thing with each and every script. But it's a different thing with every script, and it is. I think to put it in annoyingly like vague terms, it is just that like feeling like there is a vision behind it. And actually, I think that's maybe the reason why I've worked with quite a lot of writer-directors, because I don't know, like you can just really like feel when the person who's directing has also written the script. It's very easy to like, I don't know, jump in and be like, oh, well, they might only have made one film before, or they might have made no films before, but like, it's so clear that they have a vision from reading this, or there's just something tonally in the script that jumps out and appeals to me. And I'm frankly, like, I'm in a position where I don't have to do stuff that I don't like. Like, I mean, most of my friends, you know, most actors have to. It doesn't matter what your opinion is about the script. If you get the job, you're doing it, you know. So it's, since I am in this position to kind of just do the stuff that I'm interested in at the moment, I tend to just go, I'm not gonna pick anything for any other reason than like, this is something I really like for whatever reason, yeah.
What you have done, in my observation, if you take something that is such a behemoth like Potter, there are so many directions and they can be backwards that someone could go from something like that, and you've navigated with such integrity and authenticity through the projects. And I just wanted to get a sense from you whether you see kind of an end game, or whether, like you're saying, you are taking things sort of bit by bit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty, like, other than the general end game of just keeping acting, there isn't. I don't feel like there's anything particularly I've set my sights on. Yeah, I want to direct at some point as well, but in terms of it's hard to plan, I think, in this, or have a plan in the film industry, just because you don't know what you're going to get offered, or you don't know what the scripts are going to come in, or But I mean, generally speaking, I think if I want to do some theatre every couple of years and then just keep making films for as long as they'll let me. That's the end game, really.
When you talk about the extreme, you've got such an incredible CV when it comes to theatre. It's a very different game, isn't it? And you have that immediacy where you get the feedback from a crowd with the performance.
Yeah.
There must be something addictive about that, but do you find that both those challenges feed into each other when it comes from film and theatre?
Definitely. I mean, I think film is what I grew up on, and film sets are where I grew up, so they're just a place of immense comfort and familiarity to me. So I think I love that kind of in and of itself. Theatre, I absolutely love doing, and you're right, there is something very sort of addictive and exciting about it. But that's the one I weirdly feel feeds more into film. I feel like I'm a better actor every time I've done a play. I feel like I bring that, and I think a lot of it's just confidence, to be honest. Starting doing plays when I was younger, having started off on film, there was something reassuring in that, of just going well, I can't be terrible then. I can't, if I can do it without an editor or without all these other things to sort of catch you and take out the crap bits, then you must be doing something right. So I feel it sort of keeps you honest as an actor and keeps you just on your toes, and you can't get lazy when you're doing a play, really.
Now, fan bases are a fascinating thing, and I have covered quite a few Potter premieres in London,
cool.
And the very last one, extraordinary one,
Yeah,
down at
that
Trafalgar
was
Square and at Leicester Square. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no.
And what spoke to me, the films, the books pulled together. There's this enormous troop of kids that had come from Peru. They'd saved for 3 or 4 years and fundraised, and the books had taught them English. And the degree of passion that they had for Potter, for you and the role, was actually emotional and moving, hearing these kids talk. Getting a sense from your time here in New Zealand as well, from the number of selfies I've seen, you've been so warm and gracious to your Kiwi fans when you've been at the gym, or whether you've
there
been
have been
watching.
a lot at the gym, yeah.
Yeah, good boy at the gym.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that level of warmth when, obviously, for your whole career, you've kind of have to interact on a probably daily basis?
I mean, I don't know, it's. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure some people there are good moments and bad moments. Normally, I'm always happy to take a photograph, or always happy to sign something or say hello. I think there are some moments where I'm probably a bit oh, okay, yeah, that's fine, yeah.
I'm just trying to bench press.
I'm just trying to, but generally speaking, I do. There's something about knowing how much it means to people, that that everyone's gonna. And I have had interactions with people that I really admired, and they were sort of slightly. The interaction was not what I wanted it to be, and so I always just want to make that as nice for someone as possible. And there's that weird thing of, and this is possibly going to sound very conceited in a way, but it's just a weird fact of my life, is that there's there is a good chance I will not remember every single person that I meet, but they will probably remember meeting me and what that interaction was like. And I remember once, when I was 16 or 17 on the set of Potter, and these people came out to set, and I met them, and I said something really completely unintentionally. I said something that I'm sure made one of them feel very self-conscious, and I still think about that. I still go oh man, that was the one time we met, and I said absolutely the wrong thing at that moment. I just run in the way that I used to meet a lot of people on set, and I would be just running my mouth, and just said something, and I was oh man, that was the wrong thing to say. So I think particularly since that, I've always had an awareness of just yeah, make that as nice to people as possible. Unless they come up and are rude, which sometimes happens, in which case I will probably not be as friendly to you.
How do you then stay grounded? Because when you talk about going through, and as a child and growing up on film sets and with this enormous fan base of people who recognise you, is it having the right people around you that keeps you as clearly as grounded as you are?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
mate. Sorry, you okay?
Okay,
Do you want
Tom.
to get it out? Have a cough. I'll do it too.
No, yeah, it's a good idea.
No, well, that was well held. Sorry. No, we can all do
We're
it.
all right. We all good? Need a cough?
You all right?
We're all good. Dan, you all right? All right, we're well coughed.
No
All
worries.
right, Tommy, okay, mate? Okay, good.
Do you need to ask that again? I'm trying to
Yeah,
answer.
no, I've just, and in terms of
Yeah.
keeping yourself grounded after a childhood growing up on a film set with that kind of spotlight on you.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously got incredibly lucky with the people I had around me. You know, from my parents, sort of goes without saying, but I should definitely say it. You know, they're amazing people, and they also they had the advantage of both my parents were in the industry. My mum was a casting director, my dad was an agent for writers and directors, and they had both been actors when they were younger, and so they kind of had the perfect level of knowing the industry enough to be able to help me and guide me through it without they weren't jaded or cynical about the industry, or and contrary to what everyone wants to believe about parents of child actors, they're not super pushy parents who really wanted me to act. When I told my mum I wanted to do acting when I was really young, which is an idea I then sort of forgot about for years, but I saw a play when I was really young and I turned around to her, I was like, I really want to be an actor, and she was like, no you don't, because her experience as being an actress had not been great. It had just been hard, and what it is for most actors who don't get crazy lucky when they're 10. So obviously my parents, and then also I think there were a lot of factors about the Potter films that were quite special. I think the fact that there were so many of them and they were all in the same place with mostly the same crew, all of the same people around us. Most kids, if they become a child actor and then they start working and traveling around a lot and doing loads of different films and whatever, they're not going to see the same people all the time probably. They'll see their parents or maybe even just a chaperone who ends up going with them or whatever it is. But that would be a weird life, whereas I still got a sense of stability, and they were all great as well. The crew was amazing, and they would have all never let me get, I think, too big for my boots or anything like that. And it was a great time. I think I know lots of people that started young in the film industry, and most of them are great. The child actor stereotype is definitely one that I think is a little unfair. I see where it comes from, obviously, and there have been people who've had really tricky situations and have struggled in various ways for as long as there's been a film industry. But I don't think it is necessarily a bad place to grow up being on a film set. It's a lot of fun and can teach you, as I said, the value of being part of a team and all that kind of good stuff.
And especially when you look over through all of those films, the filmmakers that you've been able to work with, the directors, but also the cast members, they just know, they're geniuses in their crafts, aren't they? And you get to soak all of that up.
Yeah, and the list of, he won't thank me for retelling this story, but the director of my first job was a chap called Simon Curtis, who directed My Week with Marilyn and lots of other films. And my first job was David Copperfield for the BBC, and it was an amazing cast. It was a ridiculous cast. It was Bob Hoskins, Maggie Smith, Ian McKellen, Imelda Staunton, Paul Whitehouse. These are just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's lots of other amazing people I'm forgetting. And Simon said to me on my first job, was Dan, enjoy this. You will never work with a cast this good again. And he would have been right with literally anybody else, I'm sure, but he had just happened to say it to me. And then, obviously, the people I got to be around and work with on Potter were amazing, and also for the most part, just lovely people as well, and learning the lesson of, you can be a great actor and also just be a very decent, normal human being, working with Imelda Staunton or Michael Gambon or David Thewlis or people like that. I was very lucky.
Yeah, wow, when you put in all of those terms, you think,
Yeah.
what an amazing,
Yeah.
amazing start. I just quickly, before I'm probably going to get wrapped at some point, or get something thrown at the side of my head, I'll just keep talking till somebody does. Get parochial for a second, obviously
Sure.
mentioning how gracious you've been with the fans in New Zealand, but a bit of a sense, is this your first decent sort of stretch of time down here?
First time in New Zealand, yeah.
And how we've been, I hope we've been kind and hospitable and
You
generous.
have. You absolutely have. Like that, I always sort of get to know a place through the crew and through the making of the film. But yeah, it's been, it's been lovely. Like I will definitely miss the New Zealand crew when we go to Germany. I don't want to say too much, like disparage our future German crew, who I'm sure are going to be amazing. But I'm definitely like going to miss a lot of the people we've had here, just because they've really made it a wonderful experience. And yeah, and to all the people who like we annoyed when we filmed on Custom Street and stopped traffic and did all those things, I'm very sorry and thank you for your patience. Unless you're one of the people that shouted at one of our PAs, in which case, screw you, buddy. Keep walking. Yeah, no, everyone has been like genuinely like just so warm and friendly, and yeah, no, it's been great. I will definitely I will 100% be coming back here on holiday, because I want to come in. Because literally, we've been walking around Auckland and the surrounding areas, like the little bit surrounding areas, going, this is so beautiful, this is amazing. And everyone's like, this is nothing. You need to go exploring. But I'm like, no, I'm from London. This is beautiful. You're by the sea. You've got the water right there, and there's you travel half an hour, and you're surrounded by mountains and stuff. And everyone's still like, oh, this is nothing. So we're like, okay, great. We've got to go. But everyone says we've got to go to Queenstown.
You do.
I don't know. Queenstown must be a literal heaven. The way everyone has talked about it is I've never heard a place so unanimously talked about in glowing terms. So I'll have to come back and go there at some point.
Have you not seen Lord of the Rings, Daniel?
I have, but that's a film. I don't know. I can't.
But it's real.
I grew up on film sets though, where we built everything, did everything on green screen. So I don't trust that. I just assume that was all done later. But I will go and check it out.
You are a star.